Welcome to the Conquer Food Podcast with Craig and Paula Williams, where we share tips, tricks and strategies from the coalface of the weight loss industry in the UK. We're going to help you to think, eat and move better. Ultimately, we're going to help you finally gain control and conquer food. Hey up, welcome back to the Conquer Food Podcast. No, that's wrong, isn't it? It's the Quarantine Daily Podcast. Yeah. So we've got our usual panel, Rick, Nick and Georgia. Still answering your questions. Got some a really good question today, which we're going to kind of dive into. Before we start, though, we're going to do our 1 minute of gratitude for today. Rick, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
What's good on you?
What's good on you today? I am feeling very upbeat. I'm feeling like everything's going to be okay. I think that's a good thing. I think we will get through this and we'll be better people for it.
Amazing.
Or me?
Yeah.
My hair looks amazing today. That's my thing. It looks amazing.
Good.
Mine is that I made avocado toast and I've got coffee in front of me.
Oh, wow.
Little things make a big difference. Right, so we're gonna do our little questions today. I've got a question today from Emma. Who we all know, really active in the group. So let's do this question some justice. I've lost it.
I love Emma's videos. Have you seen the chicken?
Chicken. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I need the chicken to be in every video she sends now.
Right. So first part, self-control with all things snacky. I'm sure with little snacks every now and again, we all have that little bit of a devil on our shoulder.
I think it's things that you already know. You could take away the snacks so you don't have the option to snack if you really don't want to, or you have snacks ready that are slightly better choice rather than, like we spoke about again, where you go look in each different cupboard and you're like, what do I want? If you have little things ready and prepared and your goal, like those are your options. That's what you're going to choose rather than the big bag of crisps in the cupboard, or just don't buy the big bag of crisps and then you don't have the option to eat it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be that was really common advice, wasn't it? Just don't buy it, you won't eat it. But in reality,
you'll think about, because I know if I don't buy it, I'll just think about it all day, and it will get to midnight, and whether or not there's a lockdown, I'll go and buy it.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing. This is what I was going to say is like people say that just don't have it in the house and you won't eat it, but who has driven miles and miles to get snacks before?
Exactly.
Yeah, you will, won't you?
Yeah.
When we first launched boot camp, it was about 12 miles to the nearest town.
And I bet people drove.
Yeah, no, they did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a case that if you don't buy it, you're not going to eat it.
Sometimes it does work for people. Like my mum, she just doesn't. If she doesn't want to eat bread, she doesn't have bread in the house. But she won't think about that. Like she won't then fantasize about the bread.
Yeah.
She just, because she doesn't have it in the house, she doesn't think about it. So it does work for certain people. Like I say, different things work for different people. It's finding
what works
best,
for you.
Yeah. So like the prepared snacks, or with you learn how to ration the not so great snacks, because you can still have them, everything in moderation.
Yeah, I would say it's with the you'll crave it and you'll go and get it. That is very true. Like we've all done it. I've definitely done it. But I think there is an element also of if you can make it through a couple of weeks without going out and doing it, you'll probably be able to do it for as long as you need to. It's probably getting past that initial night or two even of just going, oh, those crisps that I really wanted to buy that I didn't buy, I'm going to think about it. Eventually you will forget about it because it's actually just your brain being a knob basically and trying to make you think about things you don't want to think about.
We had that really good plan that actually did work, where whenever any of us wanted to eat something or snack,
1 hour.
or you got 1 hour, you were told you can come back to me in 1 hour if you're still thinking about it, and go away, do something different and then come back.
Yeah, I mean, in times when I've fasted before, I've done like a 7-day water only fast before, that was something that I would do is if when I started to feel hunger, I would literally have a timer on my watch and I'd just be like, right, and if in an hour I still want this, I will eat it. And I think the key point there is there's there's 3 parts to your brain. There's your emotional side, there's your like physiological side, and then there's your logical side. And each work at different speeds. And in reality, when we're looking at like weight loss, what we will do is we will satisfy, if we could 10 down to 1, if when we have our, it's hard to explain without drawing it, but let me try. So we've got our emotional side, really quick, it's the chimp that we talk about, let's put a 10 in that box, right? So we nail that, give it instantly eating food. And then after that, we've got our logical side and we put a 5 in that. Right, we will get a 1 in our physiological side. Do you see the difference? So emotionally, when you satisfy that, physiologically, it's going to have a downside. If we can reverse that and put a 10 in our, we eat for our physiology, you know that. Logically about the same, but we get a 1 in our emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, we've got to bide time for our logical part of the brain to kick in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna mess up our physiology to satisfy our emotion, whereas we need to fight the emotion a little bit just to get the physiology we want. So is that just like...
No, that makes sense.
I like it.
But I think snacking isn't, I don't know if you agree with me, but snacking isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like we have snacks at camp. It's just at the right time with the right food after you, at certain intervals, and it's whether you need them or not.
Yeah, it's the line between snacking and grazing, isn't
Because-
there? Snacking is having snacks at times when you need something to eat.
And of course, some people's snacks might be different. Like I know that in the past, my snacks were a full-on meal, and that's what I would call a snack. So really, I'd be having 6 meals, not 3 meals and 3 snacks.
What swaps have you done? Have you done any swaps of snacks that make them nutritionally better, or?
I really like the celery filled with peanut butter rather than putting peanut butter on toast. I really like.
That's
I know
good
a lot
one,
of people don't like that, but I like celery on its own, and I like peanut butter, and then you put them together. And it's got the good crunch.
Thanks for
I'm really
letting me
glad you
cooking.
explained that. But all those people who keep asking how to make Ansel log, Georgia has done it for you finally. Oh, and stick a raisin on it to look like
This is why I don't do cooking.
Well, one of mine is a real easy one is milk chocolate for dark chocolate. 90% dark chocolate. You're unlikely to gorge on it. I know there were some people that just still gorge.
Yeah, I
on
reckon
it,
so. For me, I'd need to break that into squares and have it in separate portions. That's what I'm having, rather than going to the whole bar, because I'll go back and go back and go back.
Yeah. You definitely stepped up your input from yesterday, Georgia. It's good to hear. What are you saying, Rick?
I was going to say, for me, I find when I'm not at camp, I don't snack. I just cut snacking out entirely. I just have 3 slightly bigger meals, and that's all I do, because I just find that if I start snacking, I don't stop. And because before camp I was definitely a grazer, so I wouldn't necessarily have massive meals all the time. I would have lots of little things, or lots of big things. To be fair.
That's what
throughout the day,
people's portion sizes
but
are massively
I'd probably
different.
miss 2 of my 3 meals a day, because my mum would only cook evening meals, and that's the time I'd eat a meal, and the rest of the day I'd just be picking at stuff constantly. And a snack for me would probably be a sandwich with crisps and a drink and a chocolate bar.
So a meal.
That was a snack, exactly. For me, that was a snack, and that'd be at 11 o'clock. So
But the issue is that we don't. Rarely do we account for those snacks, do we?
No,
100%
yeah.
not.
You
No.
forget that you've had them.
Because I'd only sit down and have. Well, that's the other thing. Mindful eating. That's a big part of it as well. When you snack, if you make sure you go, right, this is my snack time, I'm going to sit down and have this snack at a table or wherever it is, just so that you can go, I'm conscious of having this snack. This is a time I eat. This isn't a time that I watch TV and mindlessly put stuff in my face. It's not a time where I'm dealing with the kids or I'm at work and I'm rushing around, I'm just chucking something in my face. This is a 5-minute window or a 10-minute window, whatever it is you can fit into your day. You sit down and go, right, this time I'm going to have that bowl of nuts I've put together at the side, or this time I'm going to have that bit of fruit, whatever it is, and you just sit and eat it and mindfully eat it. So you go, right, my brain's registered, I've had that food, it's in my body, my brain's not going to go, you haven't eaten since breakfast, because you've sat down and you've had an orange or you've had whatever it is your snack is, and then you won't consciously, because your mind plays tricks on you, of course, like we know, like you said, if you were to journal at the end of the day, what have I eaten today, you'd write down probably your meals and maybe one of the healthy things you've eaten as a snack. But if you actually thought about it, you probably had a chocolate bar and you probably had a pack of crisps and you probably had a fizzy drink in there as well that you don't ever account for if you just wait and journal at the end of the day. So if you wait as you go, that's another way of doing it, journaling. That's always a good one. So I've just thrown about 3 ideas into one there.
I think planning those moments ahead of time
Yeah.
as well. Sort of thinking, right, if I do get bored or I do want a snack, instead I'm going to do, whatever, read a book or something that gives you
A good one, to be fair, if you're knowing Emma, I know she's pretty fit and healthy as it is, maybe if every time you think of a snack when you don't actually need a snack, you think it's probably just a boredom or a whatever it is thing, doing exercise. I'm going to do 5 squats every time I think I'm having a snack. Why not? It's just a thing to do, isn't it?
I don't know, but like going on a Paula tangent, she would say like, if you're not hungry, if you don't think you need that snack, sit with that feeling and think, why do I feel that I need to have that snack now? What is actually the real problem? What am I thinking?
Yeah, what's the trigger?
What's the trigger? Why do I want to eat right now when I don't think that I need to eat?
What were you saying, Nick? You sounded like you was going to...
I was going to say something.
Sorry, Nicola, I can't butted in. I do apologise.
No, don't apologise. Yours was a real good point. Don't you worry.
Didn't get any points for it though, did I?
Well, I'm not doing points today because I felt like I was...
Got too competitive yesterday.
Well, no, it wasn't that. It was just like...
We all went home and we fell out. Nobody could talk to Ricky. We were looking up quotes.
That would be bliss. You could not talk to me all day if you really want.
God.
The second part to that was speeding up running. I'm not going to labour this very much. I might do some other training on it, but basically look up plyometrics or SAQ work. SAQ stands for speed, agility, quickness. It's about working on like your nervous, innovation as well as muscle strength and changing muscle fibers and all that kind of stuff. So have a look at that. They will help. Right, next one that I kind of picked out. Right, this one from somebody called Jules. Okay, so last year I set myself a challenge and walked 1,000 miles.
That's
Love
amazing.
That's impressive.
Love it.
Love a challenge.
Impressive.
Impressive.
I'll tell you.
That's me clapping.
Yeah, it's amazing. What's that? How many miles a day? That's like
3 miles.
at least
2.5 miles a day.
at least 2.5 miles a day.
You do it every day. Sometimes you need rest days, though. If you've ever done a challenge before, you might find you've overcommitted.
Nicholas also learnt that some dogs don't need to be walked 10 kilometres a day.
I've recently learned that not all dogs need to be walked every day to a long distance. Today I've been banned from walking Winnie, from hashtag walks with Winnie, because she's walked too far. And yesterday on our walk, she stopped, looked at me like she hated me, and would only move if I turned around to walk back towards the house.
It's a dog that's had like 1 or 2 walks a week for the last year. And has now had 5 10k walks in a row.
Well done, Nick.
She's got given her DOMs. She loves it.
Right. Well,
Sorry.
She's done 1,000 steps.
This year I want to ramp it up, but don't know where to start. I'm still walking, but I want to do more. For weight loss, I want to be able to go into any high street shop and buy clothes, not have to buy online.
That is the dream.
Yeah, I'm ready, willing, and able to make a change, which is great to hear.
She's ready. She sounds like she's ready to go. She should just go.
Need some advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's obvious then that you're pretty determined. You're pretty consistent. If you've done 1,000 miles in a year,
She already knows that she has that motivation to do it, which is grand. So she can build on it.
Yeah, I guess it depends what she thinks the next step is. So does she want to just stick with walking, which everyone loves a walk, apart from Winnie today. So does she go, right, I'm now going to do 2,000, I'm going to double it. Or for a challenge, as some people who know me, like to just pick a distance that I'm going to do. So whether pick a country you're going to walk to, pick the circumference of, I don't know, the UK, whatever that would be. Can you walk that in a year? I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, Eddie Izzard did that in marathons day after day, didn't he? 57 marathons, 57 days. That's the circumference of the...
Was it? Okay, well, there you go then. So, break it down, do the maths, get a friend to check the maths in case you got it wrong, and go for it. Or is it that she's like, right, I'm done walking, it's now walking,
Yeah, she's
but I'm
ready
going to
for a new
add,
challenge.
Am I going to start running? Am I going to walk, but get a weighted vest and do it in that? There's loads of options.
Well, there's loads to sort of pick out in regards to, it's a good analogy actually for any mode of fitness. The body is an incredible adapter. That's what fitness is. It gets used to the stress you impose on it. Stress being anything that forces your body to change. And if we're walking consistently for a year, our body gets really, really good at walking. And actually, the amount of calories your body will consume to do that movement will become less and less. Your body's going to get more and more efficient at doing it. So I would say that in some way you've got to increase the resistance. The obvious one is duration when it comes to walking because it's long, slow, steady. But can you increase like the gradient or the weight that you carry or the speed in which you go? And there's so many other ways that you can change the resistance. My key point is that whenever if managing weight is our goal, we need to be thinking about how you spice it up pretty much every 6 weeks. Because the body, there's a great article online which is running makes you fat. you know, and it's a lot of people that start on a treadmill, they start running, they get some great results. And then after sort of 12 weeks, all of a sudden they start putting weight on. Nothing changes, but it's because they're doing the same run, same pace, same distance, reading the same magazine on the same treadmill, you know, and the body just gets used to it and just becomes really efficient at it.
We bumped into somebody walking a dog the other day. Actually, I can't remember which, if he was with me, when she was saying that the sort of hill that runs from camp to the farm at the top, that she started timing how long it takes her to get from the very bottom to the top, and she was like, "Oh, I'm down by how many? What was it?" She was like,
"I'm down to 12 minutes now," and she said, "You should do it. You should try me." So we're like, "That's brilliant." She recognised us from. She said, "I saw you on the TV." And all
did she?
Yeah.
Ricky was trying to sign her autograph. She's like, 2 meters away, get away from me.
Did she say, "Oh, Ricky, you sound different in real life"?
What accent is that?
You must be his twin.
No, but she said she used to go into town and walk up the cartway, which people that don't know Bridgenorth is a really steep hill. And she said she started off there and she had to stop 6 or 7 times, I think 10 times she even said. She said now she can go bottom to top without stopping, but her lungs are busting at the top. I said, well, that's brilliant. Like that's a great place to start. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
So she's not, no, she can't go into town because you're not meant to drive to walk your dog. So she's walking from a house which is near camp, and she's walking up the hill. And so Nick said she's timing herself every day.
Yeah,
how long it takes to get up the hill.
So that's measurable.
Yeah.
Really good idea. I think the other thing is that's not in the question is that she hasn't spoken about food there. So I mean, if we're walking 1,000 miles a year, then you're doing it right. Exercise wise, you've kind of got that in the bag. Really, if you're walking that far in a year. But maybe if you're looking for weight loss, maybe look at your food as well, because that's obviously a massive part of it with weight loss.
I see a lot of people that do a lot of avoidance through engagement. So what I mean by that is like they're engaged in fitness that much that actually nobody talks about the food that's going on. You know what I mean? Have you seen it?
I think I'm kind of a good example of that. Before camp, I used to play football once or twice a week with friends. I used to go to the gym and have a personal trainer 3 times a week, and I would manage to put on weight every week, and that's because I was eating crap every single day and usually secretly, usually binging, so it's like it's so easy to go, but how do you go, where are you going so wrong? You're in the gym every day, you're really trying. Like I'd see the guys are like, oh, you've trained really hard, and I was like, yeah, no, I tried my best.
Eating more than you output.
Well, literally, I must have been burning probably 2,000-3,000 calories a day when I was working out. That means I was probably putting in more like 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day, which is a lot of food, and it was usually the wrong foods as well. It wasn't even necessarily 5,000 good calories. Well, never 5,000 good calories, let's be honest.
I saw a great little meme on the internet the other day, and it was like, I'm overweight because, right, and there's loads of stuff that's crossed, my metabolism is slow, my blah, 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 not acting enough, or muscle mass has dropped, or all the my thyroid's all this was crossed out, and at the bottom I keep eating like an arsehole.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I think if you and Paula had a tenner for every time somebody comes to going, I cannot lose weight. There's so many reasons I can't lose weight, and then they lose weight. You'd be millionaires, like billionaires even, because it's people have this fundamental idea that I can't lose weight. I'm that person that can't lose weight. Georgia was one of those people. That's why she's laughing so hard. But there's a reason. It's not my fault. I'm doing everything right, but I cannot lose any weight. And they'll come to camp, they'll do a week, and they'll lose 10, 15 pounds. And they go, well, it's amazing. It's like, this is a miracle. No, it's not. It's not. We're just kind of forcing you to do what you've been lying to yourself you're doing for the last 10 years. This is just us laying out in front of you and taking that choice away, really. That's what we do. And making you go, right, if you actually stick to what you say you're sticking to, there's no barriers. There are no barriers in this world.
So I think she's quite going back to the question or post, she's quite ready to go. So I think, like she said, she's got all the other aspects down, but like you say, there's no mention of food. So for her to go and maybe look at your focus on food. And just change the walking a little bit, like say maybe go and say I'm going to walk a hill a day or something.
Yeah, is that like classic? One thing I will say, to throw a quote out there, and hopefully you guys will give me some points. Maybe, don't know. Just saying.
Never.
Depends on what we've heard before, Grace.
It's being successful is not about what you're prepared to do; it's what you're prepared to do without. It's usually the case.
Brilliant.
But do you like it?
20
Yeah, you can have it.
20.
Oh, thank you very much. Nick thinks that's a bit generous.
I was going to say 8.9. I thought it was out of 10. It's just taken up to 20.
My thing there, I completely lost the thread throwing points out. What was that about? What on about?
It's what you can do without.
What you can do without.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys keep talking. It'll come back to me.
Well, yeah, I think I think even the language in her questions is positive. You know, she's going, "I've got this. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I know what I need
Got
to
it.
do."
I knew what I was going to say.
Okay, go.
And Craig's back and go.
Go.
So I was going to say, it's that classic thing of, right, I'm prepared to do anything. Tell me what to do. And you go, right, I want you to eat this for your breakfast. I want you to have, cut this out, cut that out. No more of this. Ding, ding, ding. And they go, anything but not that.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's when it's going to give you results. Yeah, but I'll do anything you want, but not that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's, absolute classic. Not saying that's you, Jules, but it's just what we've seen in our experience. I always try and look at the inverse of stuff. You know, when the majority of people are looking at one thing, I'm like I'm looking behind us to kind of what is people not seeing. And we had someone come to camp. She's been at camp for quite a while. How can I'll write it so you guys know, and I don't. Right, so I'm gonna write it down there. Okay, so no one shout that out. Yeah,
It's upside.
I'm making way too much of a big deal of this.
Great, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so every morning at camp we have this little meeting where we talk about campers and what they're doing. And for this person, it was always crushing it, killing it, smashing it. And I'm like, no, because we need to be getting this person to work on the things that
They don't want to work on.
that they are not good at, that they don't want to work at. Forget the stuff that's easy. It's like for me right now, lots of people talking about fitness and how can they be more active. We don't need any guidance with that because everybody just wants to get out and do something. Am I right?
Yeah.
Everyone's desperate to get out.
Yeah. So that's the easy bit. The hard bit is the snacking, and the wine o'clock that we keep talking about, and the habits that we're already starting to form, and and sitting on the settee way too long than we should be, So we need to be really focusing on those things that we're not good at. It's clear, Jules, you're a great walker.
I think the other good thing about Jules' thing is that obviously she says she's got something she's already looking forward to from this next challenge. So being able to go into the shops and putting on whatever she wants.
And that's a massive motivation.
Yeah. So even
Who's had that? Anyone had that? Where
oh
it's
yeah,
just-
definitely.
Yeah.
I've had it, and then I got
how did you feel, George? I'm just gonna go.
horrific. It's horrible because you can't it cuts so many other things out. Like as a girl, not to be like cliche, like your friends go on shopping days, and you don't want to go because there is nothing in that shop that will fit you, and people will still try. They'll pick something up and be like,
"Oh, this will
will
suit
look great."
you.
Yeah, and they're like, "This, try it on, it will fit you," and you're like, "I 100% know that will not fit me. Do not do this to me." So in the end, you just don't go. So then you don't socialize, and then but for when you are larger, internet shopping, a savior, because you could just buy it all online, get it home, try it on in your own peace of mind, and find nice things to do. And then so you don't have any of that pressure. That's great. But you're still not being able to do things that you see people doing every day, which is walk into a shop. Like say you've got a nice, like a meal out or something, you want to go and you want to buy a new outfit. You have to plan for that months in advance so you can find the right outfit. You can't just nip into the shop on that day and go, I'm going to have that top, I'll try that top on and get that top. So going into a shop and buying clothes that can fit you off the high street is a massive motivation.
And on the flip side of that, I remember going to the shops with Georgia and her having that mentality still of, no, nothing will fit me. I'm not doing it. I'm not trying on. And like going like, this would look really nice on you. I think you should try it. No, they don't. They won't have my size. Try it on. Try it. I'm not that size. Tried it on. It fit her perfectly and she looked great in it. She was like, okay. That just seeing that moment was really amazing. So like it is worth it. That's the thing. Like if you've got a goal like that, and to some people that will seem like nothing, but to a lot of people it will actually be huge. That moment of going into, and we're not talking about all the high street. Some high street shops do cater to bigger people now. We're talking about the high street, like your top shops, your top girls, whatever they're called. I don't remember now. Top man, top shop.
I don't know why I'm laughing. I ain't got a fucking clue on
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you walk in there, and those guys they cater to the slimmer people in the world. But if you can manage to fit
it was a massive milestone. It was
100%.
Really felt good.
And I've had that with a few people
to
that
go
come now as well.
into a shop and realize that you could pick something off a rail and it would fit you.
Yeah.
So keep going, Jules. What I like about everything that you've said is that you're constantly looking forward, and I think a lot of people can get caught up in looking back and comparing how they used to be and how good life was before, and to be constantly looking forward is a good thing.
It would be great if once Jules picked what her challenge is going to be,
We
she
can
pops on
know.
Facebook. So I want to know what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think a great thing, people who like walking, And something we do at camp every year, not right now, we're not because we're in quarantine, but the 3 Peaks is a great challenge to do for somebody like that.
Oh,
if you're in the
yeah.
UK, and you don't have to do it in the 24-hour thing. We can do it over a few days. We are planning on doing a slow one, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So when we finally get to the green light from the world to get outside again, that'll be a great one to throw in there as part of a year. You could do one mountain a quarter, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see in the news recently the lady that did all the Monroes in Scotland? Did you see that?
No, we didn't.
That's
That's
the record.
awesome.
Yeah. Incredible.
Oh, wow, cool.
There's loads of challenges out there that you could
Mix it up a
do.
bit.
Good. Right. So we are
Coming
at
to the end.
that time again.
Nailed it again.
Nick, I'm looking for some real inspiration from you, Nick, for today's closing words.
Yes.
I just think
I'm
they'd be quite
ready.
interested in you sat there in your pink
She
blanket.
looks like a pink pineapple.
What? Hey?
What?
Hey?
It's not the look I was going for. Thanks very much. I like the colour and I like the fruitiness of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay, what you got for us, Nick?
Mine is going to be from the Lost podcast. I'm going to release it back
There we
out.
go.
Rise and shine, people. So
Rise
not
and
just get
shine.
out of your bed, but rise, get up in the morning, how you can make the world better today, how you can make yourself better. And the shine part is how you're going to expand that energy to other people, how you're going to share the goodness and the positivity with everyone around you. Rise and shine.
There you go. Right, everyone, give us a big rise and shine, and we're going to close this down. 3, 2, 1.
Rise and shine!